And we should be on the air. I'm going to mute this here because I know that's going to come up. So, how was your day?
For me,
Yeah.
it was good until my dad called me and had me go out. You see, we're doing the flooring in the house,
Mm-hmm.
and they had to tear up the entire flooring in the living room because it was really messed up, and there was a lot of warping going on. So they turned the living room into a death trap. So I have some guys doing the floor, and they had to tear out all the old boards, which are all old and falling apart and moldy and crap, and they threw them in a pile in the front yard. Dad decides to come today and asked me to help him, get rid of all those boards. I wake up, it's like 3:30, and so you told me you wanted it at 5. I'm like, oh my god, he had picked the worst time, you know.
All
So you're
right.
telling me your day was spent literally chucking wood?
Pretty much, you call me Mr. Woodchuck.
How's it going, Oni Ryo? And welcome to the post Love Hina after stream discussion and Q&A, where we talk about more about Love Hina. Now, Windzer is with me as usual, but I also brought another friend of mine who's occasionally been on my channel here and there. I guess you can introduce yourself and what you do and what you like and all that shit.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is DecKrash, better known as Brandon. I do a lot of reviews of science fiction and fantasy, a few religious things as well. And I also write books under the pen name Brandon Hill. If you want to see any of my stuff, you can go to Amazon.com and look up my author name, and you should be able to find my work.
All right. I was just doing a quick audio test to make sure the audience hears you. They should be able to hear you. You're good. The reason why I brought you over is because you like the manga of Love
Yeah.
Hina.
Thought it was funny as hell.
How?
Well, it wasn't like every single moment was funny. Yeah, you and I discussed last night. Ken Akamatsu, one of his drawbacks is he milks a joke for everything it's worth and about a mile more, and until it gets like annoying. But a lot of the times, it was really just sort of the timing in some parts of the story. And then there were some jokes that he did over and over again. They actually never really got tiring, but sometimes he could surprise you with some really unique moments, like that moment where Keitaro was taking the exam and he was trying to relax, and he felt like really relaxed, and he ended up farting in the middle of the classroom. I don't think I laughed. I don't think I laughed so hard in my life. Then he has the story arc with Keitaro's sister, and then Keitaro getting that Urashima sword, and and then of course the part where Shinobu got drunk off her behind, and they had interspersed with a lot of really uniquely humorous moments. Also, I never got tired of Tama-chan. He was adorable.
All right. Well, I've recently read the manga because I wanted to torture myself a little bit, and I thought it would be a fun 10-year event thing I could do. And I've heard before. Well, I've seen the anime, much to my poor judgment, because I thought it would be a fun thing to talk about when I was starting to get some subs on my channel. And yeah, the anime was just terrible, and it's not because of the dub. We talked about that yesterday. It's just not that well animated. I've actually recently watched again combination of poor judgment as well as alcohol. Rio and I saw the Love Hina Spring special together. It was fucking horrible. It was the worst.
Clearly, you aren't in the age demographic as viewers of the anime would be.
No. First off, one that shouldn't affect the quality of the damn thing in general. I mean, how many stuff that you watch that's for fucking kids, and you still love it or hate it, regardless, huh?
I watched a lot.
I think the joke went over your head. I was saying is you're in the age demographic where Christmas cakes are appealing.
Ouch.
No, I'm sorry. Was that supposed to be a joke? I don't get it.
I'm just saying, back then, Love Hina gave people an appreciation for women who were alcoholics and smokers.
Uh, I okay. For some reason that flew over my head, but still, either way, fuck you. That series is average For one thing, you're right, Brandon. It does take a joke, and he does take a gag and drag it not just by a mile and a half, but by 3 miles on average, from beginning to end. And it does have some non-running gag humor, and some of the characters are great, except for most likely the two main protagonists. I hated Keitaro at first, but he got a little bit better. But Naru, on the other hand, she is just bipolar as fuck.
She's a classic comedic tsundere. You know, the one that basically just thinks with her fist 98% of the time, and ends up regretting it later, but then doing it over and over again out of habit. I mean, she's like Louise from Familiar of Zero, or well, Taiga actually mellowed out as Toradora went on, but yeah, she's definitely like Zero. Louise.
It's going to be the reason why I'm never going to see the Familiar Zero ever in my entire life. Because what's worse than a tsundere, a lolly tsundere.
Well, the thing is,
and the fact that a series will never truly have a completion.
Actually, it did. The anime ended with the two getting married.
Well, I guess they did have to come up with that.
Well, you did hear what happened to the creator of Familiar Zero, right, Brandon?
He didn't pull a Hideaki Anno, did he?
Worse, he pulled a Satoshi Kon.
He killed what? Pancreatic cancer?
I don't know how he died, but he died.
Yeah, Satoshi Kon died of pancreatic cancer.
Well, I say pull Satoshi Kon because he wrote a manga called Opus, and
that's getting an anime adaptation, by the way.
I wonder if it's gonna actually have a fucking ending, because the manga didn't.
Interesting if it does.
That's the only thing I don't like about harem anime is that they don't. A lot of them don't have a set ending. Like, okay, I'm really into Monster Musume right now, and I will be pissed if Okayato doesn't give that thing a proper ending, or like Kurusu finally makes a choice.
No, he's going to open a zoo.
But the thing, the thing is about going back to Satoshi Kon Opus, because we apparently just went off the fucking interstate. Yeah, I read it. I read it and I was loving it, but it didn't end because he became a popular film director, and we all know what happened several years ago. There were sketches for some more stuff. I don't know if it was an ending, because I looked at it, it was like, eh. But yeah, if the series has an ending and it is somehow based off of like some notes they found of what he had planned, then cool. That's the only reason why I'd be watching that anime adaptation. It is a really good manga. You should give it a read anyways, even if it didn't finish.
It's the last chance we'll ever get at one more Satoshi Kon series.
Pretty much at this point. Tom, review the novels of what? Because I don't think
the Love Hina novels.
There's Love Hina novels.
Everything has a novel.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I think I have heard of there being a Love Hina light novel, but I don't know. I don't think it was Akamatsu-san who wrote it.
Hold on. I'm going to do a Google search. Everyone, if you want to start asking questions about this stuff, go ahead. So we can keep a conversation rolling. But I'm going to BRB, because you just dropped a bombshell on me. I know of the games. Those are never going to see the light of day here unless you ROM hack translations.
Well, in the concept of characters of Love Hina, it really set the standard for specific female archetypes in anime. I'm not even talking about like just the tsundere. You have the drunk, like One-san character. You have the energetic dark-skinned girl.
You have the lolly. You have the cinnamon bun. You have the you have the sort of the gadgeteer or something like you have the one who has that the very samurai like character. Yeah, you're right. I mean, because like I said, I look at Monster Musume and I see that you have the girl next door with Mia. You have the the lolly with Poppy. You have actually have two lollies with Sue. She's more sort of the strange foreigner, I guess. Then you have
Are
sort of the
you
samurai
fucking
like.
Slimes
kidding me?
count as people.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That was actually
These
kind of funny.
exist?
Hey man, looks like you have some more reading to do.
No!
Yes.
I thought I'd be done with this stream, be done with it all.
Surprise!
I don't even read light novels. The only light novel I've actually just wanted to.
Just two
Actually, no.
reviews of
I
it
read
on
Vampire
Amazon.
Hunter D. I read some of those novels. Those are actually pretty good.
And I read Index. Ah,
Though I've been toying with the idea of picking up for my daughter. I would gladly defeat the Demon King. So.
What the heck? It's not even written, but no, it's not written by Ken Akamatsu. It's written by some jackass named Hiroyuki Kawasaki.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think Akamatsu-san did that. I don't think he does light novels.
So okay, you know what? I'm gonna read one of these reviews off of Amazon. In fact, maybe I should set up the screen share for this. Set this up, set the chat up. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fuck you, Tom, for bringing this to my attention. All right.
We thought, know your enemy, so we thought you would have known this.
Look, I know some obscure novels. I read Genshiken Return of the Otaku, which was a fun read, but it's not Genshiken. I know that's weird for me to say.
that light novel because I have the entire first story arc of Genshiken, and I have the light novel. I never bought the second story arc of it, the one with that centers on all the girls. Though I've watched the anime, the entire anime.
I did the opposite, and I still enjoyed it. I read the manga from start to finish. I actually finished reading it a couple months ago before I went to MechaCon. And mind if I spoil some things for you?
Well, remember, I've read. I mean, I've watched all of Genshiken, so I know what it's all about.
Oh, did you watch all of Genshiken? So who does Madarami end up with at the end of the series?
Well, if memory serves, wasn't it that American girl?
Oh, so he does end up with Susanna at the end of the anime.
Actually, the anime, they only did like 2 seasons of it, and they haven't made. Okay, the way the Genshiken, the second.
So they didn't finish the story.
Well, no, I mean the first of all, the manga. I mean the anime only covered part of the manga, and I haven't read all of the second series of manga yet. I've been meaning to go back and doing that. But from what I've seen, I didn't see Madarame ending up with that girl. I thought you knew. I thought you were asking me. But
I was asking you to test your knowledge. I know the answer.
All I know is that every time Ono's American friends come to visit, she's always flirting with Madarame. But Madarame is always like freaking out. I don't know if it's just because he's socially inept or because she's American, but he just doesn't know how to deal with her. And the funny thing is they don't even act like Americans, which is just. I'm like, what do the Japanese think we are like? Good God,
They think we're loud, obnoxious, and like to shoot guns. Anyways, yeah, the series does, and he does hook up with somebody because I'm not kidding. They drag up the Madarame harem arc for like the entirety of the series. Yeah, he had 1, 2, 3, 4 options to choose. And they kind of sort of end it with him doing the typical not pick an ending thing that you were complaining about earlier. But then a couple of chapters later, they did pick an ending, and that's when Saki Kasakabe went from being the worst girl in the series to the best girl.
Oh yeah, I mean Saki starts off being like really likable, and then but she actually gets a lot better because she begins to kind of understand the guys.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all, and I like that. I like how she evolved as a character.
All right.
But, yeah.
Anyways, I am setting up the fucking screen share so I can at least show off make sure I got everything just fine, and I should set myself up this way. And look at the endless nexus of wow. It looks like a hallway if you look at my screen.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Like
okay.
Crap.
I'm reading the bottom one here. How do
Of
I
course,
see?
because it matches your sentiments about Love Hina.
Well, not only that, but I've been here, but I just skimmed through this review, and there's some weird changes from this guy named CNK. A disappointing, unfaithful sophomore effort. Unlike the first enjoyable Love Hinama with Hazuki Kuro, the second book with Kawasaki Hiroyuki. Oh, two different writers writing on. Oh, because that would breathe consistency anyway. It's
It's
we.
probably like fan work.
Yeah, inmates running the asylum. All right, the second book with Kawasaki Hiroyuki is weak and contrived, fraught with poor, biased narrative, weak and overly liberal characterizations, and a vicious and painful take on the slapstick violence of the manga. Even as I write this, I am deeply disturbed that any editor could have viewed this book as a similar light as Book One or the series itself. Motoko is a pale, suicidal shadow of what we've seen before. Keitaro is completely absent. Sue is heartless and selfish. Motoko's sister Soroko is easily tricked and unobservant. Okay, that's weird. I can only suggest that anyone considering this book take the time to review in a book beforehand to be sure that their impressions of the characters can withstand the assault of how they're portrayed in this book. Okay, so far it sounds so bad it's hilarious to me. Like that actually sounds like off the deep. It sounds like that kind of bad I would enjoy. Because it's just so fucked up and disrespectful, I can actually get a good laugh out of it. And no, Tom, judging from things it's not canon, seems like to be its own universe. What is that loud noise? Windzer, are you in a car?
No.
Oh.
What loud noise?
I don't know. I keep
Hang
hearing
on.
wind.
Did that help?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, I have a little fan on my desk that keep blowing on me.
Another thing about the tropes that Windzer that you were talking about. Tom says that Yurusei Yatsura has those tropes. Here's the thing. I think Love Hina kicked it into mainstream more so than Yurusei Yatsura, even though that's been around since like what the 80s, the 70s.
The 70s, and Yurusei Yatsura wasn't a harem anime, if memory serves. It was just wacky romantic hijinks between the main character and Lum.
To be fair, when you break down Love Hina, it's the same case because we from right from the get go we know who Keitaro is going to end up with at the end of the series.
Actually, it wasn't exact. We weren't exactly sure because especially when Mutsumi pops in. Yeah.
Yeah, but then she fucking shoots that down halfway into the series pretty hard. So that narrows it down to just her.
I think that Love Hina was Akamatsu's first steps in really trying to do a serious, romantic comedy. And the problem with Akamatsu-san, I mean, he's a great artist and everything. I mean, if you don't think he's a good artist, just look at the backdrops he does for Negima. But
yeah, I love me those. I said it in my video that he's good at scenery porn, and that shit is all digital too, by the way.
But what I'm trying to say is that he's not very. In Love Hina, he wasn't very subtle. He, you could tell what was going to happen from a mile away. Whereas with Negima, you couldn't. You really didn't know what was going to happen next from issue to issue.
I forgot. You said with Negima could happen with issue to issue, or
yeah, I said with Love Hina, you could tell what was going to happen from a mile away.
Yeah,
with Negima, you really couldn't from issue to issue. It was kind of a surprise, and at first it started off like a harem comedy, and it changed into something completely different. Though it still retained the harem elements, with these girls just being utterly infatuated with a 10-year-old.
Or most of them, at least. But yeah, it's gotten to the point where the definition of harem is like a fucking gray area. We don't know what is or isn't one. Like Sword Art Online has been categorized as a harem too. Time to time.
I think what it is that no, the harem anime is still pretty specific because you just say if you have one protagonist, finding himself in a situation where he's surrounded by beautiful girls who all want him. That's a harem anime. Now, you have some anime that don't go that full extent, but you'll have the main character maybe surrounded by a bunch of beautiful girls. Maybe not all of them want him, or just a lot of hijinks that happen around them. That some might be, things where they can, where they can, when things might get misunderstood between maybe the main character and the girl he truly loves. You have those elements that that give it harem-like elements. A good example is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? You have the two main characters, Hestia and Belle. Now, it's obvious Hestia is in love with Belle, but can never bring herself to say anything. But Belle, as he grows and becomes a hero, and of course Belle's eyes are for that Eyes Wallenstein, if you remember, that's her name.
The inferior girl, yes.
Yeah. But anyway, he as he grows and becomes more well known and more powerful, and then he becomes friends with a whole bunch of other girls in the town. You can see that a few of them have a thing for him, but it never gets to harem comedy level where they're constantly trying to either directly or indirectly outdo each other for his affections. It's just that he meets a lot of girls and some of them actually like him, or it's just that Belle is so likable that they just fall in love with him easily. So, but it's always the central focus is always kept between Belle and Hestia. So, and so it has harem elements, but it's clear that the plot isn't trying to go in that direction.
But with what you just said, that would still make Love Hina a fucking harem, or?
Oh, Love Hina is absolutely a harem anime. Because remember, you have other girls who actually like him, and a few of them are like. First of all, some of them start off, not thinking very much of him, but as time goes on, they see Keitaro. Even though he's not the most skilled guy in the world, and he's clumsy, he is kind to a fault, and he wins all the girls over. Even Motoko, who's the hardest to win over because she's just she had so much trouble struggling with her own feminine identity, and she had an issue with boys, and even Keitaro helped her out to the point where she actually kind of liked him. And so it was always sort of that implied, well, if Naru doesn't want him, I'll gladly take him. So
yeah, that's the thing. Even when I was watching the anime, Motoko was my favorite because she actually had the arc that Naru was totally missing in the actual anime. Now that was something. You saw my tweet because you responded to it. Things I've dug up on, or things I would stumble onto whenever I either did some research or went on TV tropes or whatever. Every Love Hina apologist, the manga ones at least, would say something along the lines of, no, don't watch the anime. The anime has done great injustice to the character of Naru. That's why she's seen as this unlikable bitch this whole time. And I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because, let's be honest, Ken Akamatsu's work when translating to the anime, not a very good track record. Especially with Negiba. But when I started to read that, it's like, okay, I see some of the nicer elements, but those bad character traits of her just are still there, and it just makes her even more weirdly schizophrenic and shit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, every time. See, that's the problem with him and his humor. I don't really care about the jokes. I know it's a comedy, but every time it gets into a heartwarming moment. Every time I let my fucking guard down, they do a joke, and then you turn the page, he gets socked and punched 20 miles down the road, and then her opinion goes back to, never mind, you're still stupid fucking pervert idiot. Nah, fuck you. And that's how the chapter ends.
I get it. It's a little too realistic for you, I understand.
Ouch. Savage.
It's like, man, she acts like real life woman.
Well, the thing about it is, you look at a lot of anime where they do the classic tsundere. They're always like that. They what they do, they amp it up for comedy effect. And yeah, I know for you, it just wasn't funny.
No.
Other people find that hilarious.
Some people nowadays are going to find that offensive.
I'm going to use the words of the creator of Log Horizon when someone said that his sister was acting tsundere towards him. His exact words were, "No, don't say that. Tsundere is not a real thing. In the real world, we call them bitches."
Oh yeah, that was I forget what anime review what anime show I was looking at, and they were talking about tsunderes, or no, they weren't. No, they were mentioning character archetypes, and this is the one you call a tsundere, and or as other people just call them a bitch.
What's funny is I was listening to a gaming podcast. I'm not sure which one, but I think it was one of the ones that Super Bunny Hop was in, and dude one of his co-hosts was talking about anime, talking about tsundere, and he's like, what the heck is this tsundere? What the hell is that? Because he was just completely green to the whole medium. And then he explains it. He explains it in the accurate detail. And once he finished, Bunny Hop's like, oh, that just sounds like bipolar disorder. Just straight through bipolar disorder.
Yeah, kind of. It's pretty. Tsunderes can get bipolar.
It's an archetype I'm not in favor of because of that reason. But Jesus. So I got a question. You've read Love Hina. How did you read it? Did you read the physical mangas from Tokyo Pop, or what is that loud fuzzy noise?
Loud fuzzy noise?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
It's your fan again, I think.
No, if you're talking about the thumping noise, that's not me.
No, it's. Oh my god, it might be me.
I didn't hear anything. But I turned the fan off. And the only fan that's on is the one on.
I hear some fuzziness.
I keep hearing a tapping, a thump noise.
That might be me muting myself while I do research.
Oh, that's probably what it is then.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah, if you're switching back on to talk, then yeah, I mean, that's it. Then that's probably making that noise, just the activation sound. But you were asking me what how did I read Love Hina?
Yeah,
I have the entire collection by Tokyo Pop.
Okay, I have a question. Because I haven't gotten that volume. I only have the first 3 volumes of the Tokyo Pop release. When they go to Sue's Kingdom of Momo Island, the capital of the nation is called Todai, which is a joke in itself because that's the name of the place they're going to, aka Tokyo U.
Yeah, I know what it's called.
What did they do in the English localization in order to make that joke?
Oh, I have to go back and look through the entire thing because I don't remember that entire story arc all that clearly. All I knew it had something to do with Sue's brother, and that's about it.
Well, Sue's brother doesn't even physically appear in the manga.
Yes, he does.
Nope, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't. He gets mentioned. He never physically appears.
No, I think he appeared. Hang on.
Nope. We never get anything of him, only in the anime. And the joke is that he looks a lot like Keitaro, but with dark skin.
Well, yeah, because
it was bear-stained bears the whole time.
Hang on.
He's saying that you might have suffered from Mandela effect.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about. Give me a second. I'm trying to find. Motoko seems to be able to tolerate and keep up with her. Keitaro stands. That person she refers to as her older brother, actually her cousin. Okay, first of all, it's her cousin, not her older brother. However, it can be inferred that she eventually comes to care about Keitaro. That's really strange. Hang on.
It's kind of funny when you look at what shows started airing around the same time as Love Hina, right?
Right.
You have like.
Okay, well, Lambasu does not appear explicitly in the manga. He does interact with Keitaro at one point and has a different role. Volume 14, Keitaro receives a letter from Lamba Lu, inviting the former Ronin to take part in a research project between Tokyo University and University of Momo. in which case Lambalu is actually the chairman of the Joint Research Project on the Lost Todai Ruins. In the animes, Lamba. Okay, so he does make it. All right, I guess I'm just thinking about him from the anime.
Yeah. Yeah, he like I said, he gets mentioned, and yeah, he did write that letter that Niyama Namo had to send to him, but never physically appeared. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is a Mandela effect.
Yeah, I guess it
But
is.
I was saying at this time, I love he never released other notoriety shows. You have Tsuyuki, Monster Rancher, like Digimon Adventure 2, and ironically enough, Fully Cooley. So it's
Yeah, but
kind of weird when you realize Love Hina and Fully Cooley came out at the same time. And Fully Cooley completely jumps the ending of to the end of the whole thing with relationships when Love Hina, I guess, stretched it out pretty far. The anime equivalent, not the manga.
yeah, I haven't read the Fully Cooley manga because I know that exists.
It explains a lot more.
One thing I didn't talk about in the manga all that much is Kitsune, and there's a reason for that. She doesn't really have an arc like all the other side characters do. Even Akamatsu knows this and actually writes a letter apologizing to her at the end of this volume. In fact, let me pull it up. I have it right here. I didn't really talk about. I was nervous how that video was going to come out. By the way, I really was. Let's see.
You got a lot of practice in prior to it, so.
Yeah, true. Let's see. It says here, "Dear Kitsune, thanks for being there to move the story along. You were a real lifesaver, but I never really got to write any good stories about you. Sorry." He's also got letters for a bunch of other characters. God, that might be my mic.
Well, I'm not hearing it anymore.
Well, no, that's because I'm muting myself. So, anyways,
Okay, yeah. So that noise, yeah, I heard it again whenever you whenever you popped in and turned on your volume again.
Maybe I need to lower the volume a bit. Let's see. Doot, 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 doot. Sound. No. Ooh. God, I'd set up the good mic, but that would
Man, even when you're looking at manga, at that same time, a lot of really good stuff was coming out.
Oh yeah, that was like a heyday of like manga releases. I mean, you had Tokyo Pop, which was just grabbing up licenses for every dang thing. So
yeah, they were.
I didn't even realize this, but Hunter x Hunter started then too. I feel bad for those poor souls that started at right when released.
well, I remember even ADV had started up a manga department, but then that was okay, like the late '90s and early 2000s was like a period of boom and just complete bust for the anime industry because the internet becoming so prevalent during that time, it easily just started supplanting everything, and so you had all these manga being released, and then suddenly all the companies that were producing it just ended up going down the toilet.
Yeah. Well, if we're talking anime as well, it started with Genion.
Yeah, I know. Actually, let me see, I'm trying to remember if Genion was the first one. Yeah, it was the first one, and that shocked me because I was like, "What do you mean Genion's going? Shutting up shop?" And I was like, "What happened?"
Yeah, the same guys who were giving me Hellsing are gonna fucking just drop while they're just delivering the middle of the series.
And what pissed me off was they released New Type here in the States. ADV was releasing an American version of New Type, and then they just suddenly stopped making them. I was upset because that was like one of the best anime magazines ever made. I still have my old collection.
Damn. I forgot it was them who made that. I don't even know if they completed any of the mangas ADV published other than Azumanga Daioh.
Oh yeah, they. Oh, you talking about manga? Okay, I was
Yeah.
thinking about anime because I was like, yeah, they have tons of completed anime series.
Yeah, I know. When I was back in my heyday of collecting DVDs in high school, I was pretty much a mark for ADV. Wow, that is a weird echo effect.
But in terms of stuff that's like harem anime coming out around that time, I'm not really seeing anything else besides Love Hina.
Uh, yeah, because what didn't Mabarajo come out a couple of years later?
Well, the anime.
That's one I didn't. That's one I didn't watch. So
You are lucky. I saw the first 2 episodes, and
I watched the full show.
I'd rather marathon Love Hina through and through, OVAs and all. Um, boy, you want to see another wimpier protagonist? I'll give you one. How's it going, chat? I'm sorry to hear about your cat, V-Mon. God, I'm sorry. I'm still blown away by the fact that there's a Love Hina. There's a Love Hina. There's a Love Hina novel. Jesus Christ.
now there's so much more joy to be had.
No, they're out of print, so I'm not going to find them.
Yes, you will,
No, I won't.
dude.
Dude, treasure hunting days are over, dude.
Dude, you can
Because-
probably find used copies on Amazon easy.
I was just looking at Amazon, couldn't find any. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Let's see if the wiki page has anything on the of the novels. Okay, I don't see anything here. So, Windzer, how was your day?
Pretty good for the most part.
Hmm.
Waiting to watch Gridman later. See if Trigger can deliver.
So, anyways, after I made that video, Brenda, you will understand this metaphor. Have you ever seen a story of I don't know, when Batman finally when the Joker finally defeats Batman, or Zenigata finally catches Upan, or they that whole journey of their character arc comes to an end, and then they have that post conclusion blues. It's just not as fun. Life ain't fun anymore without doing shit like that. You know what I'm talking about? That kind of story arc.
Well, yeah, I mean, what's his face? Return of the Dark Knight was like that, and Joker thought that Batman had, finally retired. He went into a coma, and then when Batman came back, Joker woke up from that coma.
Well, it's pretty much how I felt after I upload that video. It's like, oh my god, that's it. I'm done. I don't think I can top this. This was kind of a big project of mine too.
Dude, there's plenty of anime series out there that you can still go on about. I mean, it's whatever you like, or maybe even hate. I mean, yeah, I guess you were hard up for this because this is something that you've been wanting to just vent
It was something I
about
didn't want to passionately talk about, yes, and I still do. Hence why I was doing this stream. But I don't know if I could get that passion again, unless Negimo somehow makes a return. But I guess I'll have to stick with UQ Holder at the moment. Still a good read.
Well, I say this, read Monster Musume and maybe come back and talk about that.
It's good, but it doesn't have the same energetic charge up. At least not
You
yet.
haven't gotten to some of the really crazy parts. You're only, like you said, two
volumes in. Yes.
2 volumes in. Where did you leave off?
Like I said, I completed 2 volumes in. Shit. To be honest, I know it's not the entire anime.
I'm talking about the manga. What part of the manga did you leave off at?
I'm trying to remember because it's kind of blending in with my memories of the anime because
The anime ends with the story arc where Ragnarok finally arrives. No, not Ragnarok. Excuse me. Lala.
That's the Dullahan, right?
Yeah, Lala.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to there yet. But
Man, you're really early on in, because the cool thing about Monster Musume is that Okayado builds up on stuff that you learn, as you go along about more about the monster girls and their world and their cultures and things like that and their little quirks, and he uses that for even more just hilarious comedy beats later on. I told you talked to me about the whole full moon thing, and I was like, yeah, he brings that back in a much later point to extremely good effect because it's funny as hell. It's like Night of the Living Dead with satyrs and fawns.
Night of the Living Thirsties.
Oh, trust, yeah, it's that crazy. It is definitely the thirst. The thirst is real in that one.
But like I said, that doesn't sound like until I don't know. There's also like some weird spin-off mangas that have been coming out too. Have you been noticing this?
You're talking about like stuff similar to Monster Musume?
No. Well, there might be stuff in the shared universe because ever since Monster Musume, there's been a boom of like a genre of like, hey,
monster girls.
Not just monster girls, but dinosaur girls too. Have you ever heard of My Girlfriend is a T-Rex?
Yes, I have.
I've read that. I wish there was more of it. But anyways, Monster Musume actually has like a spin-off thing too.
Well, it's not.
If I was at a bookstore, I'd show you.
It's called 12 Beast, and it's a totally different story.
No. It was like I said, if I knew what it was called specifically.
I think I know what you're talking about. It's the same. It involves the same characters, but all that is like fan comics, like Doujinshi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not a spinoff. It's just a bunch of Doujinshi.
Sounds like a fun read, though.
I've read a few of them. Some of them are cute. Others are just like, you just can't beat Okayado when it comes to doing what he does, and I'm trying to get into 12 Beast. I just hadn't really sat down and read through the whole thing yet, but because he likes to put in more monster. He also works with like slightly different design on his monster girls in that one. For instance, the harpies. These harpies actually have human arms, but still have. Oh wait, no. Is it human arms or bird-like hand claws for arms? It's been a while since I read it, but I know that they have like human arms, but they have wings. Instead, like Poppy, in Monster Musume, she has her wings are her arms. So, and let me see, like one of the main characters is a Minotaur. And she's just like ginormous, but she's like the cutest, sweetest cinnamon bun you ever met in your life.
See what it is? It's just a natural evolution over time, Like, Love Hina set the standard, and then people have just been building up on it ever since. Eventually, we'll start waifuing household objects.
I think we've done that. I mean, yeah, well, not household objects, but like battleships and stuff.
Battleships.
We're going to get the bizarre animorphs of anime.
It's out of control.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to the point where you do a sexy female version of Bowser, then you realize that all bets are off.
The internet made a fucky.
Yeah, I followed that dude too. That was funny as hell.
Anything's possible.
And I do need to watch the Gridman anime too, because Brandon, I was one of like the 10 kids that grew up with its American counterpart, Superhero Samurai Cyber Squad.
Oh Lord, yeah, you're a 90s.
Which, by the way, Studio Trigger actually used that title for their Gridman series. It's literally called Superhero Samurai Cyber Squad Gridman.
Oh Lord,
am I saying that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. It's been a long ass time since I've seen the show. I really wish I could have rewatched that before I got to Gridman, but I had to read Love Hina. I had to put off me playing Yakuza Kiwami 2, which I still yet to complete, by the way, and therefore I can't play Fist of North Star Lost Paradise. All because I dedicated myself to reading this and tormenting myself because of it.
Future.
Well, you don't necessarily have to torment yourself anymore,
I know. I am going to start something small for my next anime review. It's actually going to be a Gundam series. Not gonna say which one though. I kind of want that one to be a little bit of a surprise, but I don't even know if it's good or not because I've been getting more and more into the Gundam franchise lately. Because Star Trek and Star Wars have betrayed me both.
But you know what will never betray you?
Gunpla.
Gunpla.
What is that?
Gundam plastic models.
Oh,
yeah, which I actually have constructed a few.
yeah. I have a couple of Macross Valkyrie models that I haven't finished, and one I'm probably going to buy it again because one particular piece that is essential to connecting the wings broke, and so I'm gonna have to probably buy that thing again. Pisses me off.
Yeah, I picked up a Valkyrie from Delta.
So I finally got the Death Scythe that I wanted, so I was happy about that for Gundam Wing.
Nice.
You know, Gundam fans who grew up with Gundam because that was the gateway show, because it was on Toonami, who went to check the other series and come back to Gundam Wing, they don't like it as much. They say it hasn't really aged well in their eyes, so that's a very fascinating look back.
I mean, why do you think they made Unicorn? They wanted to retell the original Gundam story, but modernize it slightly.
So you're basically saying it's like The Force Awakens, but done right.
Yes.
Well, unlike you guys, I haven't given up on Star Wars, but you know,
Oh, I'm giving up on Star Wars. It's so easy to quit things.
not
Yeah,
me.
he's very
When you have been a fan of Star Wars since when you were born, the year the first Star Wars came out, and have seen pretty much every Star Wars movie in the theaters. You know, almost maybe not from the original series the first time, the first day it came out, but everything. You know, the first day it came out. You don't just give up on it like that. I mean, yeah, they made some really bad mistakes with the last one, but I'm not about to say that the whole series is completely trashed now. To me, that's just going a bit too far.
He has hope. He has a new hope.
Okay.
What's that, Tom? Magical Pocan.
What the heck is Magical Pokon? I'm gonna look that one up.
You don't know?
I don't even know that one.
So, who's your favorite character in Love Hina, Brandon?
Favorite character? Let me think. Probably Shinobu, simply because she was always so sweet and innocent, and just never she was the one thing that she always believed in Keitaro. So she was one who Keitaro never really had to win over, except just to make her a little bit less shy. And so so she was the one like that Keitaro could always go to if if he knew somebody wasn't going to beat the living crap out of him for no good reason.
That is true. Shinobu never was never a dick to him at all from start to finish. Although, yeah, for me, it's a toss-up between Motoko and Mutsumi. Mutsumi, because I actually found her to be genuinely hilarious most of the time.
Oh yeah, I also did love Mutsumi. She was the cinnamon bun, but the problem was she was just way too ditzy.
I know, but her ditziness is actually some of the funniest moments in the damn series. And then there's Motoko, because like I said, in the anime, she actually had an arc that was, even though she was even more aggressive than Naru, because she was swinging her sword at him.
Yeah, that was the thing.
But she actually ended up being nicer than Naru, before Naru got around to him.
Well, yeah, because her aggressiveness was just a veneer for her own for her own what's the word I'm looking for, feelings of inadequacy. As a girl, and the more Keitaro tried to get her to open up, the harder she fought until she finally realized that he just wasn't gonna give up on her, and found a person who was really genuine and cared about her, and then she was able to open up to him.
It's just, why the hell did they have to bring in like 20 cop cars, a bunch of missiles, and a God knows how much money is spent on on fucking train ticket rides to get to that point. You forgot? Do you remember the chase? Do you remember the big chase?
Yeah, I do remember that. I just, the thing is, it's been a while since I read it, but I know like Akamatsu went seriously over the top on
Oh
some
yeah.
comedy beats in that thing.
Oh, it was. It got. They even had a. They had a map that showed you just how far they travel. Pretty hilarious. It was frustrating because it was at that fucking breaking point of no return. It's like, oh my god, there's stubbornness, and then there's what is a word beyond stubbornness? We need to figure it out.
Obstinance.
Obstinance. I'm pretty sure we could do stronger. We may have to come up with a obstinance.
Hard-headedness.
Hard-headedness. No, we gotta go for something a little more aggressive.
A case study of Darwinism.
We could definitely shorten that. Aggressorness. It was just fucking aggressive. Damn.
Flexibility, obstinacy, perseverance, bullheadedness, contumacy,
Roid rage,
indomitability, mullishness, obduracy, pertinacity, pigheadedness, adamancy. Oh, adamancy. That's a bit much. So I just dropped it on thesaurus.com.
And then, goddamn, then after that there was the Momo arc. That was weird because they were trying to set foot in Tokyo U together, and then everyone tried to stop it. And then at the last minute, fucking Senna comes in the plane being chased by airships. He's like, Keitaro, I need you. I need your help. We finally discovered a secret temple. I've pinpointed its location. Come with me. What? No! It's like, oh no, Indiana Jones. And this kind of reminds me of Back to the Future, specifically the ending. It's your kids, Marty!
I forgot about that. You know, the show. There were like 2 other occasions where they were about to get into Tokyo U, and something happened right out of the blue to yank them away. I'm like, what? The ever-loving hell, you know?
The first part where he gets the broken leg was just forced plot convenience because Keitaro, who's been injured God knows how many times, all of a sudden, oh no, my leg. And
yeah, that was pretty lame, especially how much abuse that this dude has undergone.
Come on, man. He just forgot to put his plot armor on that day.
Enlighten me. Okay, so Keitaro was able to check out of the hospital early, but he still needed his leg recovered, but he couldn't attend school anyways. I've seen so many students in my school having to be on wheelchairs and broken legs and broken arms with casts and all.
Just shows how committed he is.
Wow, okay, that either another joke is flying through my head or you totally misheard what I said.
No, I'm saying, like, come on. You know that Asians would never miss a day of work or school.
But he missed an entire semester.
Exactly. He has bring shame upon his family.
You know what's funny? We never see Keitaro's parents ever in the entire series.
Honestly, they probably don't want to have nothing to do with him. I mean, look at them.
Because they're they're overseas. You don't see anybody's parents in there.
No, Windzer is also right if you remember what he said when he introduced himself in the fucking in the manga. His parents did kick him out of the house. They didn't want anything to do with him for a while.
Well, yeah, that's right, because they were sick and tired of him just constantly only trying for Tokyo U, and he refused to try for another university that just wasn't, as demanding, or as hard to get into. That's right.
Yeah, but he was so determined. I didn't mention this in my list of positives. This was one of the things I forgot because I was because of the recording and blah blah blah. But there is a positive message in Love Hina, and it has not the marriage thing, not the domestic abuse.
Don't give up on your dreams, even if it nearly kills you.
Yes.
Over and over and over and over and over again.
Yes, I thought that was a positive message because Keitaro went through a pretty decent arc, even though he kind of ended up being Seta 2.0 That part was kind of weird because he's not that good of a role model, anyways.
Well, that was the whole thing. Is that Senna ended up becoming a role model because Senna, first of all the other girls thought he was pretty cool. But even though the fact is that, yeah, when you look at the way he acted, he was just like a much older version of Keitaro. Poor guy just like played with bad luck.
Yeah, but it's still like the guy drives a car like a fucking N64 glitch.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you get your car to keep doing that? Well, I mean, yeah, he probably just has a permanent case of lead foot. I'm like, how can you still be responsible for a little girl driving like that? What the hell?
Yeah, that too. Oh, Jesus. That character was such a nothing after, like, the first couple chapters after she was introduced. That's her. She's just basically Sue's sidekick from that point forward. So, what is a character you actually do hate in this? What are the things you actually... I know you're a very positive guy, but there's got to be something that got under your skin in Love Hina.
Mitsune was a total bitch.
Oh, you really didn't like Kitsune?
She was, that we call her in Louisiana Kanai.
You gonna go that far?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. Okay, she was a weird tease, and
yeah, all she ever did was look for opportunities to try to mess with everybody. Even if what she did ended up causing a lot of chaos. I mean, she was just basically chaotic neutral embodied. But in the worst aspects of chaotic neutral, because every time she would do stuff, it was always just because for kicks and giggles, even if it just completely threw a wrench in things that were going smoothly. Every time she throws something in there, something was bound to happen. She'd start messing with things. Sometimes, yeah, it would help Keitaro and Naru get closer, but more often than not, it was just for the lulls, and it was annoying.
Oh yeah, I understand that a little bit. It didn't really got under my skin that hard. Probably because there were a bunch of other things I was just annoyed with, like another reason why I can't enjoy that running gag, and I've already said it before, is because it's always out of context. It's hardly ever Keitaro's fault. It's either an accident or a fucking misunderstanding. Even at one point, it's like, oh my god, you hit me even if I breathe differently. He actually said that to Naru in the Tokyo Pop version, at least. So yeah, that never really got under my skin all that much. Although I can see where you're coming from. Kitsune does take it too far at times.
Chaotic neutral or chaotic evil?
You think Naru's chaotic evil?
No, I'm saying the character you're talking about. In terms of messing with people for the sake of messing with people.
Chaotic neutral. Chaotic evil, I think it's the same thing, but you have a much more malevolent intent, other than just shits and giggles.
Yeah, no, chaotic evil is just you do whatever the hell you want. It doesn't matter, who dies, who. You just want chaos. And it's just you're basically a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
Or a murder hobo, as they call them.
So, you used to like Love Hina, did you, V-Mon? Yeah, Love Hina was... Oh, God. I've had people in high school gush about this series. That seems to be the pattern. Everyone that was gushing about...
What year was it?
No, 2007, dude.
That late, huh?
Yes.
Like, I watched Love Hina back in 2005?
You're starting to sound real quiet, but yeah, you said you saw this... I've known of the series' existence in 2003, 2004 because of AMVs and
but it was also at the time where I jumped, I dived deep into, streaming back when everything was easily accessible on the internet, so you could go and find all those shows. And honestly, Love Hina was probably the tamest one I watched.
I'll take your word for it, because the anime itself was pretty tame. You take a look at that. You take a look at the manga comparison. The fan service, there wasn't that much fan service in the TV series. Maybe in the OVAs, but not in the actual TV show. But yeah, back in 2006, 2007, these had some classmates that were gushing about the series, and I was just really didn't care that much. And then the other guy brought up Negima, and then I checked that out of curiosity, and everyone knows how that went.
No, how did it go? No, that's what
I ended up loving the series, at least the manga. Didn't care much for the anime.
Which one were you talking about?
Negima.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, I mean, you followed all the way up to UQ holder, so.
Yep, still reading it, still loving it.
Because I have been meaning to start on. I started on, but I hadn't finished it, and I'm meaning to get back to it.
You should probably finish up Negima first.
Well, I know how it ends. It's just,
You should still do that. You should still go back and finish it, because there's some really good moments that you're probably missing out on. Like, you're going to miss why Yue got voted best girl. I forgot. Did you drop the series in the Magical World arc or early before that?
it was like in the middle of the Magical World arc.
Yeah, that's like half the series.
I already knew that Yue, she became a sorcerer herself. So,
Still to experience that, it's pretty cool. I guess.
I still like Nodoka though. She became like an Indiana Jones.
Yeah, she has. That library island arc did kind of foreshadow that.
The thing is that they should have just made like a series about Nodoka just by herself, because she seemed to have like a ton of adventures in the magical world.
Well, a lot of the characters have potential for spinoffs, but we don't know what's going on till then. Who knows? Maybe he will make like quick one shots or something. I mean, he made Negima Neo, which isn't that good, but okay. All right. Anyways, going back to what Tom was talking about, Magical Pokemon. What the heck is this? It's an anime series that tells the story of everyday life of four princesses from the Netherworld who are oblivious to happenings in everyday life in the human world. How old is this series? Oh, this is one of the mid-2000s stuff. Okay. Well, honestly, I'm thinking about closing up the stream early. It's unless we got anything else to talk about. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were. Sorry, Hishen. I thought you were Vmon. I don't know why. I think you guys have the same icon.
Yeah, I was looking like, where's this Vmon person he's talking about?
Oh. But yeah, that's all I got about the Love Hina stream. Anything else?
Any questions?
Is a gateway drug to more degenerate animation.
Like Monster Musume.
Truth be told, yeah, it's kind of by nowadays it's tame. And did you hear about what Ken Akamatsu said about nipples and why he doesn't draw them?
They're hard.
I'm gonna look it up on TV Tropes because you can find it there.
Just tell us why he's.
I think that joke went over your head.
Wait, I didn't hear you. That's why.
I said they're hard.
Just tell us why he doesn't draw them.
Because I forgot what he said word for word, and I want to quote it word for word because it's funny. Okay, found it. Okay. This conversation taken from Akamatsu's Twitter discussing the use of his Barbie doll anatomy. Akamatsu-san, why are you scared of nipples? What's so horrifying thing that nipples do to you? Akamatsu, I haven't experienced that the nipple attacked me. I'm afraid of nipples and I don't draw them.
Okay.
I was expecting him to say he likes his chest spherical.
Or maybe he got poked in the eye once. I don't know.
No. Someone gave him a titty twister. And then he lost them, so he no longer has reference.
There was some jack I knew at high school who told the story about how some dude got drunk and fell on the concrete floor and scraped his nipple off. He said it grew back, but for the longest time, he was known as the one nipple wonder.
Ew.
And this whole time, I'm like, wait, those can grow back?
Apparently.
So that one skit from Daily Lives of High School Boys is true then.
I never seen that show, even though you showed me a couple clips and they did look funny.
One of the characters ends up like shaving his chest and accidentally cuts off one of his with the razor. Like, don't worry, it'll grow back.
Still, it hurts like hell.
Yeah, that's like one of the most sensitive parts of the human body.
Yeah, it's also sensitive to look at, apparently, which is why Ken Akamatsu never draws them. Why does he have such a hot wife? Seriously, look at the photo on his TV Tropes page. Which, by the way, Naru's based off of that, which I got from a comment section, and I'm like, oh well, that could probably explain some things about his marriage right there.
Oh, that sounds.
Wait a minute, Oni, you're in Las Vegas right now? Jesus. I'm coming all the way from England, Las Vegas. The power of technology can get us all closer together so we can punch each other in the face. What did I say?
So I think we need to have a small, short discussion on how well leaf swimsuits can actually work.
That episode, that story arc, the
Yeah.
island.
So, I was having a discussion with Real after we watched the Spring movie, and he said of all the things that kind of breaks it out of him, breaks his suspension of disbelief is the leafy swimwear. And I'm like, I never really put that much thought into it because Akamatsu-san didn't either. He just wanted some fan service. He thought that would be a great idea for swimwear. But no, since you made that statement, no, you go on with this, Windzer. You think about it realistically.
Okay, well, if you think about it, on a tropical island, the leaves are probably really sturdy. They're not flimsy like leaves around here where they can like. But the problem is you have to get a new suit every summer. They don't last, you know. They're only good for a set period of time, and then eventually you have to get new ones. So it's not very effective in terms of longevity. But I guess if you want to Adam and Eve it, then that's your best bet.
Well, funny thing is, well, they didn't need to wear it for that long in that arc, anyways. Which, by the way, I will say this much: that arc, even though it had the same stupid opening, was definitely a lot better than how it was portrayed in the Spring OVA. Boy, man, they sure were chasing down that airplane pretty hard, but it was just such a shame that Naru got hit with diarrhea.
That.
Yeah.
I remember that when she was trying not to say it. And then
She was trying not to say it. Understandable.
I was just like, why didn't you just whisper in his ear? Good Lord, girl.
Because I have a feeling it would play out like this. Well, what's that? You have what? What? Diarrhea! And then everyone else hears it, and then he gets punched because he couldn't hear her properly. Well, that's how I predict it, because that's how the writing is. That's how predictable the writing is. That's pretty much Lavina. Like I said, at the end of the day, it was just so-so. I mean, there was one point I wanted to drop it, but I didn't want to drop it anywhere else. And 14 volumes is actually not that long, because Negima was like, 38 volumes, and Yuki Holder, I am on the 12th volume out of 17 volumes that are probably out by now. Yeah. Oh, are you moving there permanently in Las Vegas, or are you vacationing? It's probably vacation. It'd be so weird if he actually lives in Vegas. Wouldn't that be super expensive to live in?
Not if you're really good at gambling.
Maybe that's his talent, ultimate gambler. Family visit, gotcha. Wow, okay. So,
So
apparently, Shen is level 20 in Destiny.
I've been meaning
I'm
to get
sorry.
back to playing it.
You're sorry?
Yeah, I too played Destiny once.
Hey, I like Destiny. I don't know why y'all acting like that's such a bad thing.
Did you hear about the news last year?
What about the news
You
last year?
didn't hear about the EXP scamming, the fact that the content-wise, they didn't learn any of their lessons from the mistakes of the first game.
Wait, what do you mean EXP scamming? Because I usually keep
Okay.
the Destiny news pretty well.
So apparently, somebody in the game discovered that they were shaving off EXP points that you were supposed to earn, depending on how long you've been playing the game. Some developer found out about this, called Bungie out for it, and then they had to apologize because they got caught with it. And because it was just an elaborate way in order to coerce people into spending real currency to get some of the extra shit. And people were not happy about that one bit. And then it turns out that the game, content-wise, is they're back to square one with Destiny 2, because now it's content-wise it's the same as vanilla Destiny. Well, they added that expansion.
Actually, they've made a lot of massive improvements with their most
I
recent.
mean, now, but like the way the game is now should have been what it was on launch.
Actually, it wasn't. And actually, no. When they released Destiny 2, it wasn't a thing like vanilla Destiny. It still played more or less like Destiny had after the release of The Taken King. Now, the problem with Destiny 2 is that the last couple of expansions really didn't do much and were kind of a letdown. The Curse of Osiris was just kind of crappy. It really didn't do much with that, though. The Warmind was a step in the right direction with some of the things that they added, but a lot of people were pissed off because the main campaign was extremely short, and especially the final battle with you're fighting a hive worm god. These are the things that give the hive their power, and it kind of that fight was very short-lived and kind of fell flat on its face at the end. The ending was so anticlimactic, it was just sad. Though, like I said, Warmind had a lot of really cool additions, and that kind of saved it from being completely bad. So, but now what you have with Forsaken is basically everything Destiny 2 should have been. And it has become basically Destiny 2's The Taken King, whereas like The Taken King, basically they changed everything, what they were doing, and it became everything the first Destiny should have been. And now you have, like I said, you have Forsaken has done the same thing with Destiny 2, and it's made the game a lot more interesting, a lot more fun. And Bungie has been listening to the fans. They are not just sitting there on their hands, just kind of doing their own thing. They have been actively listening to suggestions by the fans and been working that into the game. So when you play Destiny, you're not you're not playing a game by just this faceless company that's just doing what they want and not really caring what the players do. No, this is a company that's being active and listening to what the fans want needs to be added, and they've been doing that. So that's the reason why I still play Destiny. I just haven't played it in a little while because it just hadn't hadn't taken time out to sit down and play for a while, because I got Forsaken and I'm really liking it. It's just I've been busy.
So, Chibi Skitty, how is it that certain anime always has a teacher being a bad driver? That's a really good question. The other thing he's referencing is Miss Yukari from Azumanga Daioh.
Boo, I have been in this place before. Higher on this.
Are you okay, buddy? Oh, I see. What
It's an initial D reference.
I know,
Ultimately, that's
but why did
Oh,
you say it
God.
like? Why did you sing it like you were drunk? You're supposed to sing- you're
Yeah,
supposed-
because the joke is that you don't see it coming.
Every time somebody mentions Initial D, I just think back to the AMV contest at MechaCon several years ago, when this one guy, every single submission he made was a no, it was only like two. No, I'm sorry, I get two of these guys mixed up. But this guy did send in several submissions, and they were all Initial D done to music by Move, which it already does the music from Initial D. I mean, I was like, wait a minute, this is Move. Because, I mean, Move sound, when you hear Move, their particular sound, especially back
Yeah,
in
I
the,
do.
early 2000s. And you're like, he's doing the AMV of Initial D to the soundtrack, to the guys who do the soundtrack to Initial D. What the hell? Like, this guy has, like, no imagination whatsoever.
Well, did he win anything?
No, I don't think he did because
Well, there you
I
go.
think the guys who were running it, they kind of saw right through it.
Okay.
Then they had that one guy who had like one AMV in like every single category, and they were all kind of mediocre.
Okay, well, so everything, so the natural order was in motion. Okay, see, if he won, that would be a whole other story, and I'd be with you, be like, what the fuck? But no, he got put in his place as he should. You know who needs to be put in his place?
Nope.
Fucking Keitaro. I'm just kidding. So the translations was way too literal sometimes in the Kodansha version. Besides the Tokyo U, they actually reference his scrapbook as a puka. I don't know how to say it. Pukaria, Puriki. A fucking scrapbook of photos that he takes by himself.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
It's a scrapbook of camera booth pics that he
Yes.
himself.
That
Yeah,
he
that
takes
was
by
basically
himself.
saying that he was that pathetic that he just does camera booth pics of himself.
Our protagonist, ladies and gentlemen, let's root for him. I don't know. This is a pretty bad start. Let me get some whiskey.
Yeah, the poor guy. But that's your classic protagonist for a harem anime. Most harem anime, if you look at them, the protagonist is usually a nobody or is a complete wimp.
They want the viewer to be able to self-insert.
I don't know. I never really saw Tenchi like that. He was a hesitant guy, but he was still a swordsman and a pretty good one.
Yeah, but the thing about Tenchi Muyo is that it didn't follow all the harem tropes. The whole deal about the Tenchi Muyo, of course, is sort of a pun also for no need for Tenchi, and it's Tenchi is sort of an ordinary guy. He starts off, but you realize there is something special about him, especially with the story arc where he fights Kagato. And that makes the whole pun also an irony because no, he's not useless. It's clear that he's not. So and so you see that's the joke. That's the joke. It's
not like we're talking about GXP.
Oh, let's not start there. I was going to talk about something else.
I kind of liked. I haven't watched all of GXP, but all of the GXP that I've watched, I actually liked.
I dropped after episode 2, but anyways, the Tenchi, the Tenchi novels that we never saw the light of day. They're starting to localize those now. I saw a couple. I saw like one of them on the bookstore that stars Ayaka's father. What's his name? Azusa Jirai. Yeah, I haven't picked that up yet, but I might pick it up and read it sometime soon. And who knows, I might do a video on that because I used to talk a lot about Tenchi back in the day.
Are you going to start a book club?
No. I wouldn't mind starting a manga club, but every fucking anime club I go to, everyone just wants to goof off and eat candy.
Well, no, back in UL, they actually had a good anime club for
Yeah,
a time.
That was probably when the anime club had some structure, but when I attended, but you were like a decade ahead of me. When I attended it, it had structure, but then we move on to other presidents, and then Everyone didn't pay. Everyone was on their screens all the time. And when I say goof off and eat candy, that's actually a term I'm using from this old cartoon show called The Critic.
Oh, well, when I was in the anime club, it started off pretty good, but then you had a lot of guys who, especially the ones who were at the leadership of the club. They tended to be real cliquish. Still, they kind of retained a lot of their high school habits, and some of them had a thing. They had it out for me. Tried several times to get me kicked out for no good reason, and I just finally got sick of I got sick of that hate and just left.
So I managed to stick through till the end, but I was not like that active in participation. All my other friends who I made at the club, they eventually left. But yeah, I remember this one semester we went to the first meeting to get some of the new blood. I cringed hard because one of those guys was wearing one of those Sonic the Hedgehog caps.
So
Yeah,
basically, you're going down I don't do anime clubs anymore. Too many weebs.
You are slowly treading down the path of Normie Normerson, aren't you?
dude, there's nothing wrong with Normie Normonsons. It helps you get far in life. You gotta learn to
That's
balance.
exactly what a Normie Normanson would say.
You have to balance the
No,
normality with the insanity.
Yeah,
It's very zenny what I'm doing.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm like. Yeah, there is a issue. If you go, it's not has nothing to do. You're gonna call a person a normie, but they don't let their anime fandom, drive them completely bug nuts. And so, so you don't want to go full weeb. That is kind of a stage that a lot of people, and it's you don't want to do that.
Here's my advice to the chat and to you guys. If a normal person, straight up normal Norman, asks you what a lolicon is, you don't give them the answer. Unlike Digibro, who fucking gave out the answer in the worst way imaginable.
What did he do? He showed
You know
them.
what?
He showed them a lolly hentai.
Almost. You know what? I'm just gonna link you. Oh, whoa! What the?
Do I want to know about this link?
Don't worry.
He went on a very popular podcast with a big viewer base and did it.
You're not gonna see anything explicit. It's a 50-second clip, but just imagine, just imagine from the perspective of the Normie Norman, of what he just said.
I don't think I would really call Masterson a normie.
Well, he's not. Well, judging from him, he doesn't seem like an anime fan. So when I call him a normie, I mean by those standards.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the clip. Watch it on your own. It's only a minute, and then come back to us and be mortified. Yeah, like what Hishin said, he did it the worst way possible.
Mr. Intellectual, the anime intellectual, everybody. He who sits on the throne of top anime commentators.
Somebody give me a mallet. I really don't like people like him sometimes. He may have good points, and we have the same anime viewing philosophies, aka I just want to watch what I feel like when I feel like it. But I can hear it in the background. Shh.
And while I'm talking, I'm trying to scan some drawings I did.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that was it was quite an experience all month, just getting into Love Hina to see how it worked, what made it tick, what I enjoyed of it, what I didn't enjoy. There was a deleted scene that I cut out because I couldn't fit it in the timeline. I forgot to put it in. But then when I was editing it, everything was going out of sync. So I had to scrap it all together. But it's basically another camera footage of me showing the stack of Love Hina stuff I have. And I was basically saying, yeah, I bought this because I prefer digital over physical. I mean, I'm sorry, I prefer physical over digital. Why did I say that? And yeah, it's not like me buying these mangas isn't going to warrant a Love Hina 2.
Yeah, you keep saying that.
It's not like doing this is going to put Hunter x Hunter on hiatus again.
No, Dragon Quest came out a few weeks ago.
Did Hunter x Hunter go on hiatus?
I don't know. He hasn't run out of material yet, so no.
You know,
But
every time Hunter x Hunter goes on hiatus, I just post that news link on Isaiah's personal chat just to mess with him.
Hunter x Hunter goes on hiatus.
Well, I mean, if it goes on hiatus, at least there's balance because Fairy Tail's been a new season.
Yeah, the final one. But let me explain Hunter x Hunter and how it works, okay?
Wait,
You
no,
ready
I'm
for
sorry.
this?
I was thinking of a certain magical index getting a new season after like 15 years.
Oh, you just indirectly hurt Windzer, by the way.
It's so bad. What's happening is so bad.
He's a huge mark.
It's
for the
available in
franchise.
all countries except English-speaking ones. There's a licensing dispute.
Well, this new season is coming out and it's on the fall lineup.
It came out Saturday.
And what? It's not available here in the
It's
States?
not available in English-speaking countries. Crunchyroll screwed up.
Well, just go to Kiss Anime.
There are no English subtitles, period.
I'm pretty sure some
They're
fan
in-
I'm pretty sure some fan subbers got to that.
I saw the fan subs. They're trolly.
Jesus Christ.
Like,
Okay,
here,
you
let
heard
me
it more
see
than
if-
I thought.
Let me see
I
if
thought
I
you did.
can find some for you. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see if I can find it really quick, because there was one I was looking at earlier, and I'm like, this can't be real life.
You
This
wish
isn't
you,
the
you wish you woke
This
up in
isn't
an
the
alternate
future I
universe.
chose.
But like, how do you screw up a license dispute with?
Because Funimation has the rights to index, and that doesn't necessarily mean Crunchyroll has it. Even though they're partnered up, Funimation can still have the sub-license, and Crunchyroll can't upload it in English-speaking countries.
Okay, do you at least think that Funimation will put out an early dub or simul dub on their service?
Well, we don't know. I'll have to see, but there's nothing right now. Nothing is out. Here we go. We have a nice, simple interaction between Stalker Lesbian and Railgun. Here we go. What wrong, One-sama? And another sub we have, what ails you, milady? I don't know which one to choose.
Oh, that's ooh. Well, I'm pretty sure things will turn out fine. in
But
the
hey,
end.
at least we're getting Railgun 3 and a certain Scientific Accelerator anime adaptations, and I'm sure those will also have licensing disputes. At this point, I'm used to being hurt.
What about a certain magical virtual on? Are we still getting that game?
Well, yeah, that's a video game that has nothing to do with the sub-license.
Okay, wait a minute. You're saying that there was a problem with the licensing, that Crunchyroll couldn't get it?
They have it, but only for non-English speaking countries. It's up on all the other versions of Crunchyroll that isn't in English. It even has a tab on Crunchyroll with the anime out.
Yeah, I
and
see
nothing
that.
is under it. I don't know what's going on, and they're not answering anyone's questions.
They probably can't. Some NDAs might be preventing them from doing that.
I swear, I hope it's not something like they have to wait till Funimation releases a dub episode before they can do it.
Yeah,
Because
that
then
would
that
hurt.
means that simulcast will have to go by really fast.
Yeah, that would probably do some damage to that particular studio and franchise. And
I've
how many
waited
years
so
have you waited
long.
for season 3? How many
Let's
years
see.
exactly?
I was in high school. Not high school. I was in college when the last Railgun. Let's see when Railgun 2 came out.
Okay, I know you were in high school because you and I met 8 years ago, and you were still in community college.
Yeah. Okay. 2013. It's been 5 dang years
Yeah,
since we got the movie, but that's just a movie. It's been 5 years of waiting. I would
5
say,
years of blue balls.
I could wait a little bit longer. I know it's here. I saw the opening. It's a good opening. Ending's alright, but the opening is better. But I'm just sitting here with my hands out. I hear episode 1's just a recap. I don't care. I want some content.
Don't take anything. Pick you someone shit in my
I
face.
swear, if they
Just
can't
give
do
it to me.
episode 1 because it's a recap, then I think that's going to be really dumb.
No, great. Kiss Anime is acting up again. It's just like how Kiss Manga has been acting up. They, I believe, going through one manga, and all of a sudden the whole thing just shuts off, and then pops up saying "site under maintenance."
Damn. So yeah, besides Gridman, nothing else has caught my eye. I mean, well, JoJo Part 5, I still need to actually watch the rest of it, and I am so behind.
Never
I mean, come on. Goblin Slayer caused some outrage.
Why?
Okay, it's a show about medieval and goblins and fantasy. What do you think happens in those scenarios?
Fan service?
Worse.
What the hell could be worse than that?
Like you get to see women in very, very dire situations
They get raped?
in episode 1.
We're off to a great start. 10 out of 10. Sarcastic. Sarcasm. Gotta let people know I was being sarcastic because apparently...
Come on, you've never had to deal with a party wipe before.
I don't think that's the same thing, dude.
It looked like one.
Somebody's getting wiped, that's for sure. Okay, so... Love Hina. Yeah, I'm not gonna read those novels. Wait, let me check to see if it even still.
Also
here.
watch JoJo.
Yeah, I do need to watch.
I'm
JoJo.
not a fan of JoJo.
You should be grateful that one of my other guests aren't here to
Are you
destroy
sure?
you.
Are you sure you don't watch JoJo?
Yes,
If you were in front of me, you wouldn't be sweating right now.
No, sure.
Hmm.
Nothing about that show has piqued my interest.
Nunny.
Not even the style.
No, as a matter of fact, I don't particularly like the style.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
Just be happy that Real isn't here right now.
I mean, the stuff looks like some hackneyed version of Fist of the North Star. So
It's
It started off as a parody of Fist of the North Star.
for like the first 10 episodes.
It's-
And then it turns into Ruse Master, the anime. And then it turns into, well, if Fist of the North Star and Persona combined.
oh, good lord.
Oh wait, no, that's part 4, that's Persona.
mm.
Yeah, you're not really giving me a good reason to watch it.
I don't know. I can't really pinpoint Brandon's taste for you on that. He doesn't even like. He's an old man.
I'm an old taku.
But JoJo's an old show. It came out the same time. The anime adaptation came out the same time as Love Hina. Fun fact.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm older than that, dude. I've watched anime since, well, if you want to be technical about it, I've been watching anime since I was a kid, because back when you had the old Americanized stuff like Voltron, Transor Z, Saber Rider, and the Star Sheriffs, that kind of stuff. So, but if you want to talk about starting to watch anime when I knew it was anime, I mean, I watched back, Vampire Hunter D came out, and then all the original stuff back in the late '90s, like Bubblegum Crisis, Tenchi Muyo.
What was your opinions on Saint Seiya then?
I didn't watch Saint Seiya. That looked too ridiculous for me. There's a bunch of pretty boys in this ridiculously over messed up armor. That armor just looked butt ugly.
I'll admit, aesthetically, our early work of it could been improved.
I mean, I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to make a magical girl series, but with guys. Well, actually, it was more like a Sentai meets magical girl in a sense.
Yeah.
Kind of weird because basically magical girls, at least back in that time, were Sentai for mostly women. Sure, whatever. I have yet to see Saint Seiya, although I was a big mark for Sailor Moon.
Yeah, you see, I watched some of Sailor Moon, and I watched, I think, all of the movies. So, Sailor Moon was something I kind of liked. My cousin was crazy into Dragon Ball Z, so I saw some of that, the original stuff. Though I was just never as into it as he was.
You couldn't. You mean to tell me you didn't enjoy the 20 minutes of screaming and the 5 seconds of
Yeah, the huffing and puffing, standing there staring at each other like for 20 whole minutes, and then maybe I call Dragon Ball Z the show, the anime where everybody stares at each other, huffing and puffing, and maybe sometimes fight.
It's just that when you watch that anime with a parent, it doesn't have to be your parents; it could be your friend's parents. And then when the narrator fucking talks at the end of the episode, and then he or she goes, "That's it."
I mean, the last 10 episodes of the Frieza story arc was just Frieza and Goku bantering.
Oh man, it's a 5-minute battle.
They were just bantering while what's-his-face went to go and find the Dragon Balls on Namek. Seriously.
I tolerated Dragon Ball Z at the time, and I did like it, but Toonami also had, Gundam 8th MS Team, Tenchi Muyo, Tenchi Universe, Outlaw Star.
I watched a little bit of 8th MS Team, but I just really couldn't get into it. I loved Gundam Wing, Outlaw Star, and Cowboy Bebop. Of course, that was my shizzle.
All I was saying was everyone else loved Dragon Ball Z a lot, but I loved those other animes way more. Like that was my jam. Love Hina is not my jam.
No, but Love Hina did kind of get me into the whole harem anime thing. Well, that and Tenchi Muyo, of course.
I think I like Tenchi and Negima more because they had more fantastical elements to them. Tenchi had like all the sci-fi stuff with Galaxy Police, the Kingdom of Jirai, Ryoko, everything Ryoko, her space piracy, all that stuff. Negima had vampires, wizards, robots, time travelers, basically everything. Lorena was a little more set in the same universe as Negima, has wacky shit like flying turtles and a bunch of cartoonish physics rules, but for the most part, it was one realistic question mark types of herons? Question mark again.
Well, I wouldn't say. Most harem anime that you see are hardly realistic.
No, what I mean by that is none of the women in Love Hina was an alien or a robot. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, that one is probably about as realistic as you'll get when it comes to harem anime.
Yeah. And even then, like, it's not that realistic. I mean, we were talking about flying turtles earlier.
Yeah, that's why I said it's about as realistic as you're going to get.
I didn't mind Tama. I thought it was cute.
I don't know of anyone who doesn't love Tama-chan. That's one of the. There's one of the. He was like a mascot of anime for the longest time. Thing that was just so cute. You puke a rainbow every time you look at him.
That being said, always thought Ryoki was a little better.
Tama-chan have beat out Ryoki for cuteness in my book any day of the week.
Yeah, but Ryoki could turn into a fucking spaceship.
Yeah, that's all nice and fine, but still, you got yourself
all
a flying
nice
turtle.
and fine. It turns into a spaceship. That's the most convenient thing ever.
Yeah, but still, a flying turtle.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that flying turtle can't carry me to the Philippines.
No, but Kaola made like flying machines that look like Tama-chan.
Well, she needed the help of machines. Ryoki can just do it naturally.
Still, Kaola Sue was awesome.
I mean, yeah, I do like Sue. By the way, I tried to look this up online. Was her design at all inspired by Ed from Cowboy Bebop?
I think Nick. I think it came out around. Actually, I think it came out at a like a slightly different time. I think
No,
it came out before Cowboy Bebop.
In Japan, no. In Japan, Cowboy Bebop did come out April 1998.
Yeah.
A couple months later, first chapter of Love Hina came out. And by the way,
well, then I'm pretty sure that's not that nobody was borrowing anybody else's stuff. I mean,
there's a Cowboy Bebop reference in Love Hina.
Well, I mean,
yeah, but that was probably
anime,
much later on,
I swear to God, those two characters are very similar to each other. I thought I saw it somewhere that Ken Akamatsu did say he in fact did get inspired by that character.
It doesn't. Well, okay. Admittedly, in the beginning of Love Hina, Sue was just like this girl who just ate a lot, and every time you mention something new, she think it was some sort of food. So
She wanted to eat Tama a lot. I know that much. And her room looks like a fucking jungle. Did we mention she has dark skin?
Well, yeah, we know that. She was a foreigner. That was supposed to be
I'm just saying.
You two have been eating too much junk food. This is the royal cooking where I come from.
By the way, she's not supposed to have that Indian accent.
Well, that wasn't even an Indian accent. It sounded more just like an American accent spoken in a really stilted way.
Well, however the hell... No, Wendy Lee was trying to go for an Indian accent.
Oh, good God. There's a terrible Indian accent. I can do an Indian accent far better than she can.
I know, exactly. That's why the dub ain't that good. And I was told her accent is actually supposed to be similar to Kitsune's because she was the one that taught her how to speak Japanese. But anyways.
Well, Kitsune sounded like Blanche from the Golden Girls.
Yeah, Rita Repulsa with a hick accent. Yeah, pretty much.
No, she didn't sound a thing like Rita. Rita sounds like
Same
somebody
voice actress.
Okay, but still, I'm just like sounds like Rita sounds like a woman with throat cancer. Oh man. Oh, speaking of Rita, you do know that they're finally making a sequel to that Power Rangers movie, right?
Wait, the one from a couple years back?
Yeah.
Windzer, did you hear that? Oh, he's probably AFK. Because this would shock him more than me. I don't believe you, because I'm pretty sure Saban lost the rights to Power Rangers.
Hang on, let me check. I think they're doing it under the studio.
Wait, what are we talking about? I blanked out a second.
Okay.
I heard Saban and Power Rangers.
I see the news right here. Hasbro developing Power Rangers movie sequel.
Yep, there you go.
Hasbro's doing the live-action movies.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a continuation
Okay,
of the last one.
I thought the last movie bombed though.
It didn't like bomb badly. What it was is it was the critics didn't particularly like it, but it was a success when it came to other people's reviews. Everybody else loved it.
The film was okay.
I thought it was great. I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't expecting much.
It's probably going to be more interesting in the sequels now that Hasbro's working on it. I honestly have more faith in them.
I do, and I do want to see more Power Ranger stuff, because the thing was, the film was pretty unbalanced. The characters and how they were handled, that was all top notch.
Yeah, I loved the way the
last-
actors did a great job with the
Yeah.
characters. That shocked me. The only problem I had with the movie was that not 90%, but like about 60% of it was them training to be Power Rangers. And
Exactly.
that kind of got boring.
And then it gets to the final act, and and you do get some of the Ranger fights for like less than a minute. Then it moves on to the Megazord battle, which, like, I did not like the design of Goldar either.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think they were trying to go for a different thing. That I didn't expect things to be exactly like the original series. Thank God, but I'm actually happy with what they did with it. I mean, the lady who played Rita, man, she knew how to chew a scene.
Yeah, she was fun. I had no issues with her. But yeah, like I said, the film just hits a solid 3 out of 5 for me.
And Alpha 5 was not annoying.
No, he wasn't.
Holy crap!
He was played by John Heater, and he was actually pretty funny. And I also did like Bryan Cranston as Zordon.
Yeah, that was a really cool effect with his face in that wall and stuff like that. I loved that.
All right, let's see. I would prefer there to be a Power Rangers film based on Ivan Ooze. I'm pretty sure the next one we're going to get Lord Zed, because he's a much more popular villain. And I still like his original design. I hope they stay a little more true to that one.
I would like it to look a bit more horrifying, because I mean, don't get me wrong, the original Lord Zed look was still really cool. That actually was one of the better looking villains in Power Rangers.
But I think if you were to adapt Goldar into that Mon standard, I still think you could be more faithful, but still make him menacing, even more menacing. But instead, they went for a giant gold blob monster.
Remember, she was collecting all that gold to build Goldar.
I know. Collecting gold to build Goldar. I'm pretty sure you could have gotten a better design out of that.
Make my monster grow.
Oh Lord!
But yeah, Hasbro handling Power Rangers from this point forward is interesting. I don't know how to feel about that. I hope it's better than how Saban and Disney handled it.
Yeah, I have this weird sense of comfort in knowing that they're doing it. It'll depend on how well Beast Morphers does, and even then, I can't 100% say for certain if Beast Morphers will be enough, because Beast Morphers is still partly Saban's. It's kind of the transition series. See, all they have to do to make a Power Ranger series good is make the characters have more characterization.
Exactly.
Because all the characters in their current series just feel very bland. And they have gimmicks. They're not really like emotional or anything like that. They all fall on their gimmicks. Like, this guy is the nerd. This one is the leader, so he has to be boring and not show any emotion that often.
Okay, that's that. Not every leader has to be Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the 1980s.
Leonardo had character, though. Even then.
No, I said 1980s, not his later.
Even then.
Are you saying Megaforce's red leader was less characteristic than Leonardo?
Okay, now y'all getting out of my range, because I don't exactly watch Power Rangers or even Ninja Turtles now.
Well, I was referencing the cartoon turtles, but yeah, we are going off topic. But we do need to wrap it up. It's almost been 2 hours. I am sorry about that half-hour delay stream, and I am sorry if we went all over the place. I may have to retitle the stream now.
That's totally my fault.
I may have to retitle the stream because we did more than just talk about Love Hina, but maybe we'll do this again some other time. We just need with another topic. But I do plan on getting an anime review out within next week or the week after.
Like I
Gotcha.
said, man, you should watch Gargantia. That show is awesome.
I already have something in the back burner planned. I just don't. But it's going to be another classic review because my channel is basically stuck on that for the most part, according to my wiki page. Yeah, apparently I have a wiki page. But whatever. I think I'll have fun watching this show in question, and hopefully I can pump out a really fun, entertaining review that will probably encourage you to check the series out if you haven't. With that said, I am going to sign us out. But any of you two want to start closing yourselves or advertise yourselves or whatever?
If anybody wants to see any of my artwork and any of plugs for my books, you can go to DeviantArt / Brandon Hill. DeviantArt.com / Brandon Hill.
Okay, Brandon Hill, gotcha. Windzer, any closing thoughts? I know you got something funny to say.
Love Hina may be bland to a lot of people, but hey, if it wasn't for them, well, I wouldn't say we wouldn't have titty anime, but it wouldn't have exploded as much as it did.
There were exploding titties in Enigma, if you remember that.
Yes, yes, there was.
You remember that, Brandon?
Yes, there was.
So you're not wrong with that life saying.
See, he was just testing the waters of how far he could go, and then when he got his restraints taken off, he tossed off that weighted clothing. He's just like, now,
My wrist still hurt.
I will show you real titty.
And real titty we saw. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's our goofy little stream. I hope you guys had fun. Take care, everybody. Vmon, I'm sorry about your cat. I hope you feel better. And with that, this is Darkscream signing out.
Catch you later.
Later.